Boom, and we're live. Okay, so today's topic is breaking bad habits. How do you break bad habits? We all have habits. We create habits, good, some bad. Some are needed simply for basic function in a civilized society, like brushing your teeth, changing your clothes, putting on fresh socks. All these things seem to be pretty habitual, right? You wake up in the morning, you brush your teeth, maybe you shower, you put on clean clothes. These are all habits. However, over time, it's very easy to create bad habits. And I think oftentimes bad habits are started at a very young age. Smoking. I started smoking when I was a teenager. I smoked for several years and then I quit. And it was a very difficult habit to break. I think the same applies to eating foods that aren't good for us, or just being lazy and not exercising, going home at night and watching TV instead of going to the gym and working out. All are good habits. Well, those are good. They're all habits. Some good, some bad. As we just kind of discussed. Planning your meals or just kind of going on a whim and eating what you feel like. They're all habits, and I think we tend to forget that these things can become habits. When you eat how you feel, eat what you feel like eating, that becomes a habit instead of eating what you planned, which also becomes a habit. Um, so over time, we can create habits that are destructive to our health and our happiness. Some of these things are overeating, emotional eating, being lazy, stressing out, stress eating, smoking, drug use, alcohol use, alcohol abuse, self-medicating when stressed. All these things are various forms of bad habits, and they are all very easy to develop. Um, Oftentimes, as I already covered, when we form these habits, we don't even realize that we are making them habits until it's too late. And sometimes they're formed as we're children's adolescents and after a traumatic experience. Oftentimes bad habits, or what become bad habits or destructive habits, often start out as coping mechanisms. When you're having a bad day, what do? You go home and eat something because it makes you feel better. Well, soon enough, you're eating, say, a slice of cake or a brownie or something like that, even on good days, or go home and have a alcoholic beverage every night after work. These are all things that can be very destructive to our health over time. But there's good news. You can break bad habits. You can break good habits just as easily, right? But the bad habits are the destructive habits, the habits that are destroying your health, that are destroying your happiness, that are just messing with the insides. So you can change those, but just know it won't be easy. It's gonna take more work to break those habits than it was to actually form them in the first place. So studies have been done that it only takes 21 days to create a new habit, but on the other hand, it also only takes 3 days, only 3 days to break this new habit. So it takes 21 days to create a new habit and 3 days to break it. So what I typically see happen with a lot of people is they'll go 21 days, they'll create this awesome new habit, and then they think, well, I've created this new habit, I can give myself some leeway, and then begins the destructive cycle, right? Because it only takes 3 days to break that habit, and then you have to start all over again and do another 21 days of creating this new habit. So instead of focusing on 21 days to create a new habit, how can you focus on making it more long-term, something that is ultimately a lifestyle change? Most people don't mind devoting 21 days to a new habit. However, after 21 days, it's like we sabotage and quickly revert back to old behaviors, right? Which I already covered. I'm just reading my notes. Can you tell I'm a little tired? So it's like, how do we break that? How long is enough to not only create a habit, but to maintain it? How long? You know, is it a month? Is it 2 months? Is it 3 months? Is it 6 months? Is it a year? Often habits are created and maintained over the long term. So it's something that has to be a daily decision. And I think it's important to set process goals along the way, you know, your first 21 days and your first 30 days and your first 8 weeks and your first 12 weeks and your first 18 weeks, whatever that looks like. Because within that time period, your brain is changing. How you think about those activities is changing. How you connect to those things changes. How you think changes. So instead of thinking of, you know, I'm going to go home and have a brownie after a bad day, I'm going to go exercise after a bad day and it'll make me feel better. So that's something to definitely bear in mind. My husband just walked in. So 5 steps to break a bad habit. Hey, Tristan. Go ahead and mute yourself. So I kind of broke this down, 5 steps to breaking a bad habit. Pick the habit that you want to work on. That man, he's naughty. Okay, so pick the habit you're going to work on and pick what you will replace it with. I hate you. I hate you. This is going on YouTube. I hope you know that. All right. Why? Okay, sorry, I got a little flustered there for a minute. So pick the habit you're going to work on and pick what you're going to replace it with. And the reason you want to replace this habit with something is you're still going to have that energy. You're still going to have that space in your brain, and you need to replace those habits if you're going to be successful. You can't just break them. You know, you have to have something to replace it with. So you want to replace it because you're still going to have that energy focused around having some sort of habit, having something to do in that time space. So if it's, you know, just for argument's sake, the brownie. After a long day, you go home, you have a dessert, or after a long day, you go exercise. I mean, those are things, those are daily habits. You know, there was someone who I once coached who every day after work, she would go get a bucket of chicken, a fried chicken, and she would eat this fried chicken on her way home, and then she'd make dinner. And it became a habit. Like every day, this is what she would do. You know, some of us, we go to Starbucks on our way to work. That's a habit. You know, these are things that we do every day, and it's habitual. It's like clockwork. You can't imagine your life without these activities, right? So you want to pick your habit that you're going to work on. And why only one habit? Because when you're focusing on one habit at a time, you're going to see the change. You know, it's like my dad has always told me, you can't chase 2 rabbits and expect to get either one. You have to pick one and pursue that. And then you can pick another one to change, but pick one habit you're wanting to change. If it's your eating, if it's your diet, you know, some people, diet and exercise go hand in hand. Some people, they are 2 different things, and that's okay. That's okay. But you have to know you know. So for all intents and purposes, we're talking health habits, okay? And when you want to be successful, you know, you want to be successful, and if you're going to put your energy into something, you want to be able to put all your energy into it and be successful with that. So that's what I have on that one. Number 2 step to breaking bad habits is you need to create a plan to change this bad habit. You know, how will you replace it? You know, are you trading in TV for an evening walk? Are you trading in processed sugar for fruit? Are you trading in salty foods for veggies? Are you planning your meals instead of eating how you feel? Are you planning when you're going to work out instead of just when you feel like working out? I mean, these are all things, if you want it to become a habit, you got to do it even when you don't want to. And part of the accountability that comes with that is making sure you have a plan. A plan, I mean, I know I say it all the time, but you have to plan. I have periods in my life where I do not plan, and these will fall in a handbasket right quick. All right. You also want to know with this plan what your timeline is. 21 days, 6 months, 1 year, 8 weeks. What is your plan? What is your plan for the next week? You got to be specific, and you need to make it trackable. All right, this is crucial. Make it trackable, because that which is tracked is changed. That which is not tracked does not change. All right. Number 3, I think this is, I missed it. It's fine. That was 3. Giving yourself a deadline, that was 3. 4, knowing your why. Why do you want to change a habit? Why does it matter? I ask people this all the time. Why does it matter? Why not just stay the same? Why not stay unhealthy? Why not stay fluffy? Change is hard. Why do you want to change? Because it's hard. And there's going to be times when you are not motivated. There's going to be times when you don't want to. There's going to be times when the offer of something else, of your old habit, is far more enticing than what you're currently doing, than that healthy meal that's sitting in front of you, or than that hard exercise that you're going to go do. There is the temptation of so many other things. So you must know your why. You must know why changing these habits is important to you. You have to know. You have to know. And it'll make you feel better about yourself when you know your why. These are just a couple of things. Oftentimes people's whys are not even about them. They're about the people around them. And sometimes that makes you stick to it better. For me, when I lost all my weight, it was for my kids. I wanted to live by example. I wanted to live an example my children would be proud to follow. Granted, yeah, I wanted to be healthy too, but I was doing it mostly for my kids, right? Because I really wanted to have a quality life with them. And there's just a lot of value in knowing your why. Knowing your why makes every excuse invalid. It just does. Oftentimes we give out little homework assignments to people when they first start, that it has your why, your reasons, and your excuses. And when you're very clear on what your reasons are and what your why is, your excuses don't matter. They just don't. You also need to know your desired outcome for breaking this bad habit. Do you want to reduce dependence on medication? You just want to be happier. You want to breathe better? Family members will no longer be begging you to quit a habit. Friends will no longer be begging you to quit a habit. Your children will no longer look at you like, Mom, I wish you would change this. I wish you would change this, And then you also are freed of the shame of being held in bondage to a bad habit. What's your outcome? What do you want it to be? What's your reason? What do you want to see? This actually reminds me, in my own family, my husband's children, they are wonderful. They're wonderful, but they've been raised very, very differently than my children up to this point. My kids have gone through contest preps and bland food, fish and broccoli and sweet potatoes for months and months and months and months. And then my husband's children have been raised on packaged foods, processed foods, deep fried foods. They're from the South, from Kansas. And it's been very interesting the last couple of years blending our families from this aspect of having, the vast difference in lifestyles, from having a not so healthy, more processed lifestyle to having an uber healthy, sometimes over the top lifestyle. And blending those has been a challenge. One of the things I've encountered with their mom specifically is she is a good old Southern girl. And when I say good old Southern girl, she has let herself go to the nth degree. And she looks at the healthy lifestyle that we live and the way we try to eat and the health that we're promoting. And she looks down her nose at it. And any opportunity she gets, she puts us down. Well, one day, my stepson came to me, or came to his dad, I guess, not me. I just heard about it. And he goes, Dad, I don't know how one person could let themselves go so badly. And sometimes I wish that she heard that, because your kids are watching and they care. And even though sometimes it is a battle to change those habits, they're watching and they care. Because just as my stepson doesn't want to lose his mom prematurely because she won't take care of herself, maybe that's the case with your kids. I don't know. I guess I found that imperative to talk about when talking about changing bad habits, and knowing your reason why is because your kids are watching and they will do as you do. And in this particular instance, our children are given two choices. They're given two choices and how they want to live. And they see the benefits and rewards of one aspect. And then they also see the costs, of both aspects. And do I know how this whole thing's going to play out? I sure don't. But I do know that I'm going to do my best to make sure that my children don't have to suffer with their weight the same way that I have. My mom's idea of cooking, God bless her, was taquitos and corn dogs. Unless it was a holiday or we were having a dinner party, she would do like the big Food Network thing, which I get. Raising 3 kids plus all their friends, good Lord, you're exhausted at the end of the day. The last thing you want to do is cook. But I think there's a better way to do that. And so that's just some of my heart on that one. I think of these things as you're pursuing whatever habit change you need to. Children see it. Everyone else sees it. And you can try to lie to yourself about it. But you can either let it fuel you or you can let it put you out. It's up to you. All right, number 5. Create a plan for failure. Why the hell would you create a plan for failure? Because, y'all, we all have bad days. We all fall short. And when you can let these failures refine you instead of define you, things change. But so often what we do is we get stuck in these failures. You fell off the bandwagon, you had a piece of cake, and man, you're done for the next 6 months. We won't see you. It happens all the time. It's happened to me. So you have to have a plan for failure because you will fail. And how do I know that? Because you're human. Because you feel things, you do things, you make mistakes. You do things really, really good, but when you make mistakes, you beat yourself up. You will fail. But are you going to throw in the towel and say, screw it? Or are you going to pick up where you left off, recognizing you're human and you're not perfect all the time, but you can still do it. You can still change your life, regardless of your shortcomings. Because again, guys, changing habits is difficult. It's stupid hard. Stupid hard. And it takes diligence and it takes persistence. Even when you fall down, even when you fail, you got to pick yourself back up. Just like that little toddler walking. They fall down, they pick themselves back up. You have to do the same thing. It's important to recognize that you are not perfect. And that you are on a journey. And a journey is an adventure. It's full of so much fun, but so much disaster all at the same time. I can tell you some of the best vacations I have had could also be some of the worst vacations I have had. but it's a journey. It's a journey, you know, and you know, whether you're looking at a vacation as a journey, you're looking at changing your habits as a journey, you're looking at your life. It's a journey. Enjoy it. Enjoy the ups and downs. Enjoy the highs and lows. That's part of the human existence. Don't fight it. Don't fight the journey. Just enjoy it. It's just such a beautiful thing. Some other things to do in the event of failure to build yourself up. Sticky notes. Sticky notes are my favorite thing in the entire world. They're colorful and they're fun, and you can pretty much post them wherever. And it turns out the adhesives they're using these days are much better than I remember as a child. What you do with these sticky notes is you write your reason. You write nice things about yourself, like you are beautiful. You are worth the goals that you set for yourself. You can do this. You are worth more than a chocolate cake. You are worth more than a bottle of booze. You know, I mean, these are things. And you can post them on your mirror. You can post them by your bed. You can post them on your steering wheel, on your visor. You can post them on the refrigerator, on any cabinets that have the undesirable things in there, right? Sticky notes are amazing. Affirmations, putting those affirmations on your sticky notes, constantly building yourself up, because even if you're not thinking about it, you're tearing yourself down most of the time. We have to really be intentional about building ourselves up. And then keeping a journal. Keeping a journal of your failures and your successes will help you better enjoy the journey and not get stuck. Because it's easy to get stuck if you're not holding yourself accountable on some level. So, and just remember that when you enjoy the journey, the rewards you reap will be so much more enjoyable. Okay. So, kind of a recap, guys, just a recap. 1, pick your habit. Pick the one habit you want to change and what you're going to replace it with. You know, if you're going to quit smoking, what are you going to replace that smoking with? Celery sticks? I don't know. It's the hand-to-mouth action, I'm pretty sure. Chewing gum? If you're going to quit sugar, what are you going to replace sugar with when you get a sweet tooth? Fruit? Branched chain amino acids? If you're going to quit drinking, what are you going to replace that alcoholic beverage with? A seltzer? A juice? A water? Lemon water? Something infused and sassy? I mean, what are you going to replace these habits with? You know, are you going to replace your TV time with going for a walk or getting exercise? Are you going to replace sleeping in with going and working out first thing in the morning, starting your day off right? Maybe having a cup of tea on your way home. Number 2, create a plan to change it. What's your timeline? When's it going to happen by? How are you going to do it? How are you going to track it? Right? You got to create that plan. Giving yourself a deadline. All right, so number 3, give that deadline, okay? So it's part of the plan. That's kind of sub-plan, okay, subcategory. And know your why. Become very intimate with your why and the benefits you will attain or retain from changing your habit. And what is your plan in the case of failure? How are you going to pick yourself back up? All super important things. And, you know, changing a habit, mostly the bad one, seems to be the most difficult. Changing good habits, we typically don't change them, but they can be difficult as well. But it's when we change these bad habits, really quite a battle. It's important to make sure you have accountability as well. Someone you can talk to, a group you can plug into. Again, the accountability page is amazing. It's amazing. You can also reach out to any of the coaches, trainers, staff here at Fit Body Bootcamp Cheyenne. But yeah, I mean, it's possible to break bad habits. You don't have to be a failure unless you want to be, because remember, having that plan in case of failure is part of your plan. because you will fail, and you can guarantee you will fail at least once. You will drop the ball. You will relapse. But how long are you going to stay there? You know. What questions do you guys have for me this evening? Does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns? Anything I didn't touch on you wish I would have touched on? You can type in the chat box. You can turn on video. It's totally up to you how you want to do it. Sup, Tristan? I see you there. You got anything for me, Mama? You're muted, yo. You gotta unmute yourself. You silly nugget. You're trying. There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You just had to bring up the smoking one, didn't you?
It's because I love you. I was going to anyways. It was in my notes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I definitely didn't replace it with the best habit, but I'm working on it.
I know. That's a tricky one to conquer, dude. I quit 3 times before I stayed quit. And that third time, I'm pretty sure it almost killed me.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah. Yeah. But you have the support. If that's something, when you decide that's a battle you are ready to tackle, you have a support.
I do.
Which is good, because when I quit smoking, when I was smoking, I was like a closet smoker. And no one really knew that I smoked until I quit smoking. So to like get that support, it was like, when did you start smoking? When did you quit?
Yeah.
Kind of silly.
And I definitely believe it's the hand to mouth for me, because I don't crave cigarettes anymore. It's more the hand to mouth. So
yeah, it's tricky, dude. It is the hand to mouth. It's I remember I chewed on pens for a very long time.
they were all destroyed.
Oh, they were disgusting. They were disgusting. Yeah. I didn't have any nice pens.
We could tell they were your pens.
Oh gosh. Yeah, because I would like chew them out, like those Bic ones with the little plug in the top, the like white ones with like the black I would like chew them up, and then I'd like chew out the inside. It was crazy. It was a mess. And now I'm paying for that. But yeah. So awesome. Have any other questions, guys? Anything? Miss Amy, you got anything for us? Anything I didn't cover? Tristan's front and center.
Oh, great.
Oh, great. We can go ahead and mute you again unless you have something.
I don't.
Okay. Alrighty then. Well, I think we're going to call this webinar a night. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you tuning in, and I hope you all have a great night. All right.